your life when you're homeless. And some of these things may be, you may look at them and go, that's kind of stupid, but I've been chronically homeless for the last 25 years. I've been homeless this cycle about 2 years next month. And these are the things that have kept me from addiction. These are the things that have kept me productive. These are the things that have gotten me off the streets. These are the things that have kept me the person I was before I came out, and the person is still the same person I am 25 years later. I mean, with growth and evolution and stuff. But I managed to stay me through this whole process. And so these 5 survival tips on top of, I've got one more bonus one at the very end. This will help you be able to keep who you are, survive the homeless experience, and when you reintegrate into society, it's going to be less difficult for you, and you'll still be able to see things from a different perspective, but it'll still be less difficult for you. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first one is always be moving. And always be moving is something that I have lived by. When you stay, and you'll also develop a secondary skill, which is being a gray man. Because as you're constantly moving around, you just start blending in. You learn how to blend in with the different parts of the city or the country, because they all have their different cultures, their different ways of doing things. Some of it you like, some of it you don't like, and every place has that. So if you're always on the move, you're able to be kind of a chameleon and adapt and essentially become a gray man. And so this is a secondary skill that you develop because you're always moving. Number 2 is to use services, but keep to yourself. Okay, so you guys hear me talk about, okay, I go get food stamps, but do I go and congregate around areas where I can sell those food stamps or do anything else? No, I got the services. I need the services. I only take what I need. I don't take anything less than or anything more than what I need. So if I need a shower, I'm going to go grab a shower. Am I going there to mingle? Am I going there to make friends? Am I going there to do anything other than get a shower? No, I am there to get a shower. That is all I am there for. I do not care about anybody else around me unless they're in my traveling group. If they're not part of my inner circle, or if I haven't developed some sort of relationship with this individual through my other things that I do throughout the day, like we cross paths multiple times, just say hi, how you doing, something like that, you're going to develop some friendships, but they're going to be surface level, they're going to be superficial. What you really want to focus on doing is, if you're going to go get the services, go get them. Okay, but keep to yourself. Don't commingle, don't intermingle, stuff like that. Your privacy is taken away so much that think of it in this way. Because they take your privacy away, you have to take your privacy back. And the only way you could take your privacy back is by keeping to yourself. So if you want to remain a private individual, keep to yourself. Don't talk to others. And if you do talk, it's just a superficial conversation. It's nothing deep, anything else like that. But I have done this, and this again, I'm in the community, but I'm not in the community. I come in to use the services, and then I go out to the outskirts. I go somewhere where the community isn't because of various things, like I said in number 1. But if you're gonna go use services, just keep to yourself. There's no point, because the relationships that you develop, if you're not good at discerning people, or if you don't know what they really do within the community, you could be getting yourself in a relationship that you're going to regret. And that's the main reason why I do that, because in the beginning I tried and it just didn't work for me. So again, if you're going to use the services, just keep to yourself. Number 3 is have a plan. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this quite frequently, and this is something that has been essential. When I first came out the first few times, I didn't have a plan, and I just kind of, stumbled around. I went out to the age-old thing of, oh, I need to get a job, oh, I need to do this. And, a job is only around for as long as they need you, and then once they no longer need you, or whatever is happening. So if the economy's in a downturn, well, you might be one of the guys on the chopping block, especially if you're a mediocre employee. And not like so many Americans that end up losing everything is you came out without a plan, you sold everything, and what you couldn't carry with you, went in the trash, and then half of what you carried with you is going to end up in the trash anyways. Whereas you have a plan, you can at least preserve what you have, because honestly, the first few times, I wish I would have stacked money. If I would have stacked like a couple $100 before I went, it would have made a huge difference between that and just coming out here with nothing. So, number 3, if this is an important survival skill and survival action that you need to take, it's something that you can do that is preemptive. It allows you to think about it and actually consider the possibility. Because the hardest thing for most people to do when they come out here is to remove their attachment from the 4 walls, from the creature comforts, from everything that they got used to having. That is the hardest thing. Whereas if you start planning, at least subconsciously, you're beginning the process to remove that attachment so that you can move on at a point in time where it's not going to be harmful to you. Okay, number 4 is get your mind right. I think this was probably the biggest struggle I had in all my years. It took me about 10, 12 years to finally start working on getting my mind right. I was trying, but I was too dependent on the system in the beginning. And you cannot rely on the system. The system is not there to help you. The system is there to keep the status quo. And then the government also uses, especially the mental health system, they use it as a means of control, a means to be able to strip you of your rights and stuff like that. So having your mind right is extremely important. I struggled with it because of my work accident, getting my mind right. But I came across a guy by the name of Billy Meyer. Everybody's going to have a different path. If you read Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules to Man, he essentially they're the same thing. It's about accountability, responsibility. It's about creating routines. It's about creating stability in chaos. Because sometimes, especially being out here, your life is chaos. And if you don't know how to remain balanced in the chaos, and quite frankly, I still have my days where I struggle. It's usually like days where I'm missing something that's important to me, and I'm kind of a little sensitive about it. Like, let's say, Pebbles and I were supposed to talk, but either something came up for her, something came up for me, and we couldn't talk that night. Well, I'm gonna be a little unbalanced there because that's something that's extremely important to me. But on the most part, everything that I faced, especially this time around, because I've worked so hard on balancing myself, it doesn't get to me to the level it used to. Some of the things that have happened to me over the last couple of years would have put me in the hospital many times over just because I didn't know how to handle the situation. Because I took the time to become self-aware and to go out in the woods and listen to my thoughts and understand what's going on with me, how I really feel and what I really think and what's really going on with me, and understanding that, hey, there's some bad behaviors that I picked up, some of it passed down by society, some of it picked up through bad interactions or relations that you've made with other people that were not a good influence on you. And so you're going to have to, it's like when I go through and I clean out my bag. I pull everything out. I figure out what it is I need, what it is that I don't need, what is extra, and in the same sense with your mind, you're going to look at it, what is going to be positive, what is causing issues in your life, and just kind of go from there. And because there's going to be a lot of what puts you out here to begin with, even if you are a victim of economics to become homeless, there is still some psychological mishaps that's going on inside your head. It's nothing you need a pill for. It's something you need to take a moment and rebalance yourself. Balancing myself out here has allowed me, because of being in YouTube and traveling and communicating with people. I'm more in the community now than I ever have been. And so what that actually does for me is it opens me up for people to make offers. Like if you remember in Gainesville a couple of years ago, I had some kid try and get me into Molly, and I'm like, no, it's not for me. It's not what I want. If I wasn't balanced, with all of the peer pressure that I've gotten out here, I could have easily picked up another habit. And so that is the importance of balancing yourself, because without it, you're going to fail. I kind of hinted at this a little bit in the always be moving, but this is a different way to look at it, which is to stay busy. Okay, yes, you're always moving, but just because you're moving doesn't mean you're busy. It just means that you're moving. Part of creating a plan, part of moving, is that you are figuring out ways to stay busy, because just moving isn't going to be enough. Okay, staying busy, having things that you need to do, whether it's getting prepared to go dumpster diving for the night, or in my case, going to the library, going over here, taking Sam there. Like, I have purpose. I have a task and routine that I would do every day when I was in the city. And even out here in the woods, I have my routines. Like, when we get into camp, I set up camp. When after I get done setting up camp, I take an hour to rest. And then after that, then I take a moment to fix me and Sam dinner and get prepared for my live stream if I have signal. Or I, get prepared to have a conversation with Pebbles when we talk on the phone. There's different things that we that we do to keep ourselves busy. But, and staying busy doesn't always mean that it's going to be productive or lucrative, because, you could chase your tail in circles and still be busy and moving, but not be productive. So it's a healthy balance. So as you notice, everything that I talk about as far as my routine is helping me move, and so that I can stay safe, and then also getting prepared to do things that are productive. Because as I'm walking, sometimes I make videos, especially if you're a member over on Patreon. I try to, at least once a day when I'm in Signal, to upload a 30-second clip of, something on trail that I got to see, that I got to like, and things like that. So all day long, I'm figuring out ways to not just be busy and always move, but to also be productive and do something that is actually going to, benefit me, whether it is creating community and networking, or whether it is raising money, or whether it is whatever it is that I need to do. I'm always trying to figure out a way to be productive, because just because you're homeless does not mean that your time is invaluable. When you're homeless, your time is more valuable, because it takes longer to get the basics done than it does for everything else. So it is what it is. But you got to stay busy. You got to find something that's going to be productive, because that's what's going to keep your nose clean on multiple levels. That's what's going to help you reassimilate to society, because when you're being busy and you're doing productive things, that means you're commingling with the house, which allows you to kind of keep that decorum, and you don't degrade into a feral human being. Okay, and that's usually what happens to the homeless that don't stay busy for long periods of time. Okay, so again, always stay busy. Okay, guys, you wanted a bonus, and so I'm going to go ahead and give you a bonus. But for those of you that actually made it here, I want to say thank you. If you haven't subscribed, consider it. If you want to figure out other ways to participate or help the channel, everything is down in the description. Okay, so the bonus thing here is that we don't want to roll in the mud. Okay. That's the easiest way to put it. All of this was given to you. Those five survival tips was given to you to help you understand that just because you're out here does not mean that you got to roll in the mud. Just because you get to sleep with the pigs does not mean you go eat slop. Okay, just because you're out here does not mean you need to assimilate to this environment. You do to an extent. At a limited extent, because you still have to survive, you still have to be a part of it. But the thing is, you are working and you are moving in a different direction. A lot of these people out here that you're going to see, they're going to be idle. They're going to be talking a big game. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm going to do. They've been sitting out there for 10 years saying the same thing. The My Pillow guy, same thing. Until finally somebody forced him to go do the whole My Pillow thing. And now he's like, what, a billionaire now? I mean, the guy's stupid rich. And, you know, he was just a crackhead with an idea. Okay, so, you know, a lot of people will talk a lot of stuff, and they will suck you in if you don't pay attention. That's the one thing about out here is, especially when you're talking to people, is a lot of people treat it like everything's a hustle. You're telling a story because you're trying to pull the heartstrings, because you're trying to get a dollar. You do this because you're trying to get a dollar. You do that because you're trying to get a dollar. Okay. There is a hustle, because the thing is, you still got to survive. You still got to be able to get things done. You know, you still got to buy. Would you rather go eat at a soup kitchen or go sit down for a burger? And if you go sit down for a burger, that contributes to the local economy, versus going to the local soup kitchen that takes away from the local economy. So yes, you may be raising money. And this is where the business owners get it wrong, is they think that you're raising money, you're going to go spend it on drugs. No, you're raising money, and at least half of it is going to come right back to you in your pockets anyways, when not a single dime of that money that was given to the homeless would have ever made it into your pocket anyways, because the people had already spent what they were going to spend. What they did is paid for a new customer for you. Okay, and so a lot of businesses, they fail to realize this. But you know, just again, you're gonna want to go out and be a part of society. You're gonna want to reintegrate, reassimilate. So that means you may sleep with the pigs, but you don't eat the slop. Okay, you don't roll in the mud. Okay, you're out there. It does not mean that you're arrogant. It does not mean that your crap don't stink. It does not mean any of that. What it means is you're out there with a plan and a purpose and a direction. And those that know what you're doing will admire and respect you at a whole nother level, and you will probably inspire others to follow in your footsteps if you follow something like this. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.